What happens if your government turns against you? Well, in Federalist number 28, Alexander Hamilton answers with the boldest statement in the Federalist Papers. If the government becomes tyrannical, the people will rise, and they have the right and the ability to do it. I'm Matt Haskell. I'm a high school history teacher, and we're taking a journey through all 85 of the Federalist Papers in order, and we've made our way to number 28 with Alexander Hamilton again. And up to this point, Hamilton's been arguing for the powers of the new federal government: the Army, taxation, national defense, law enforcement. Now, but in number 28 here, he steps back and he begins to face his critics, the critics of the Constitution, I should say, head on, these anti-federalists. What if those powers were abused? What if the national government itself became an oppressor? And his answer was, then the people, supported by the states, will resist, just as they did against Britain. Hamilton's thesis in number 28 here is rather revolutionary in its simplicity. He writes, if the representatives of the people betray their constituents, there is then no resource left but in the exertion of that original right of self-defense. He's not just talking about voting or protest. He's recognizing an inherent right to defend liberty itself. This isn't an endorsement of chaos. It's actually a declaration that legitimate power comes from the people, and it can be reclaimed by the people. Because Hamilton argues here that in a republic, the structure of government itself prevents oppression from lasting. If rebellion ever becomes necessary, it would be rare and justified because the people have representation, elections, and layered governments through which to act first. But if tyranny did arise, the states, with their own governments and militias, would form natural centers of resistance. So, Hamilton flips the anti-federalist fear on its head. They worried that a strong national government would crush the states. And Hamilton says the opposite, because a balanced union actually protects against centralized tyranny. But why? Well, because the states are permanent institutions. They are too deeply rooted and too close to the people to be ever erased. So, if federal power ever turned abusive, state governments could rally the people against it. Hamilton's vision of resistance isn't some kind of chaotic rebellion. It's actually a structured defense of liberty. He says that local governments would protect neighborhoods, state governments would protect their citizens, and the people themselves, armed with rights and representation, stand as the final check. And he writes again, the citizens must rush tumultuously to arms to defend their rights, if the usurpations of the national government should ever render it necessary. Hamilton trusts that the Constitution's checks, the separation of powers, federalism, and elections, make such extreme scenarios rather unlikely. But he refuses to pretend it's impossible. His realism is rather striking. Power always tempts abuse, and free citizens must remain ready in spirit and in structure to resist it. So, Essay 28 here echoes the logic of the revolution itself. Government exists by consent of the governed. Withdraw that consent, and its legitimacy disappears. It's like the breaking of the social contract. Hamilton's brilliance is in showing that the same structure that enables strong defense against foreign enemies also ensures defense against domestic tyranny. The sword of government, he says, is double-edged, powerful in protection, but accountable to those who grant it. Hamilton reassured readers of the essay that the states themselves are the bulwarks of liberty, that they are too interwoven with local identity and too empowered to vanish under national authority. In a crisis, the states can and will serve as rallying points for citizens, not against the Constitution, but in the defense of the spirit of it. So, our chain of reasoning time here, let's do the homework. So, the Hamilton's logic lines up like this. The first is that power can always be abused even in republics. The second point is that the Constitution's structure minimizes that risk through representation. But thirdly, if abuse occurs, the states and people remain empowered to resist it. Fourth would be that liberty endures through vigilance, not through blind trust. And the final point would be that the right of self-defense is eternal. It belongs to the people, not the government. So there's Federalist number 28 in 5 easy steps. Now, as far as Hamilton's tone during this particular essay, it's rather bold. It's rather confident. It's like stepping over the line of being defiant. He's not afraid of power because he believes in structure. He's not afraid of the people because he believes in virtue. He's saying that freedom is safest in a government that is strong enough to act, but accountable enough to fear its citizens when the government forgets its place. Now, the argument of number 28 still resonates in every democracy today because it's the eternal tension between authority and autonomy, between safety and self-rule. Hamilton reminds us that the people are not passengers in their own republic. They're pilots, and they can always take back the helm when power begins to drift off course. So the takeaways here, the 3 takeaways, would be that the right of self-defense against tyranny is inherent in the people. The states act as the constitutional buffers against federal abuse, and a well-structured union prevents oppression, and it prepares for it if it comes. Federalist number 28 is Hamilton's, it's almost like a masterpiece of balance. It's a vision of a government powerful enough to protect liberty, but never powerful enough to destroy it. And he trusted that the American people, armed with both rights and reason, would always stand ready to defend their freedom, peacefully if possible, forcefully if necessary. I'm Matt Hasquin, and this is another one of those things we should all know by being alive. If this helped you see how Hamilton's vision of federal power includes the people as its final check, hang around, share it, follow it, all those kind of things, and stay tuned for Federalist number 29. And in 29, Hamilton turns from theory to more practice and explains how the militia should work under the new Constitution. Thanks for watching.